It's the Fantasy Commissioner Show.
Hey, it's the Fantasy Commissioner Show, the show for commissioners by a commissioner. That's me, Reginald James, the Commish. Come join me here on the live feed at rabble.tv. You can also hit me up on Twitter at the Commish Show. And if you're feeling all loving and you want to send me an email, you can do that. The Commish Show at outlook.com. Hey. Week 16. I want to be sad. I am kind of sad. I'll get to that in a minute. It's almost over. And I'm talking about the whole thing. February is going to be here before you know it. Super Bowl, and then it's all done. And then, we go into hibernation. Because we don't do baseball. Stopped doing basketball a long time ago. Although, let me say this. We do have the Rugby 7 series that's going on. It's a 10-week tournament that goes on, and they've done 2 weeks so far. Still not the same. Nothing takes care of football. Nothing replaces football. Nothing. But we're almost done. And before I forget, because I feel a rant coming on. I don't know. It's weird. The last 72 hours, I think. Something like that. I have to say, I'm going to toot my own horn here. However it comes out. But I'm a sharp dude. And I usually don't go around in a fog, but for some reason, I've been off my game. It hasn't reached a crisis point where I'm worried, but because I haven't really done a self-diagnosis, but I think I'll be okay. I'm being partially serious here, but I am kind of serious, but I'm all right. But I've been off my game, I've been in a fog, I guess, and that's just not my style. But so anyway, let me say this, because I might run out of time. So I'm going to say happy holidays now, because I got something to say about that, and I won't be getting into it at the end of this. And I want to keep this short because I want to talk about football and fantasy football, and I don't really want to get into this topic, although I'm about to. I'm going to try and keep it as short as possible. But there was a time and place for a lot of us, and I'm saying this, and I feel like an old man, but I'm not an old man, but I'm old enough to remember. And I guess it depends on where you live, where you were raised. But Christmas itself was just a common tie, seemingly, for most of us in the country. But times are different now. And we have all kinds and types of people who celebrate or don't celebrate a lot of things. They might not celebrate the things you do. In this case, Christmas. Some people celebrate Christmas. Some people don't. Some people celebrate Hanukkah. Some people celebrate Kwanzaa. Once again, some people don't celebrate or care about any of those things. And it doesn't automatically equate to a war on Christians or Christmas. It just doesn't. I don't really think too many people are putting much thought into arming themselves against Christmas. They just either celebrate it or they don't. But here's the deal. Unless you know someone well enough that you know for a fact that they do celebrate Christmas, to me, the respectful thing to say is Happy Holidays. And no one's trying to take away your Christian identity or abolish Christmas, the war on Christmas. Just stop and think about it, folks. That's all. We're not that deep or into you. We don't even know you. And that's the point. I think the respectful thing to say is Happy Holidays. Christmas is a holiday. Happy Holidays encompasses all things that people celebrate or, frankly, don't. They get time off. Their kids get time off because of the holidays, specifically because of Christmas, that thing that some of you say we're at war against. Black Friday is predicated on the fact that you want to buy things for Christmas. Now remind yourself, what day and what month does Thanksgiving fall? When does it occur? Sure as hell didn't occur yesterday. I don't see a war unless I really try to create one. I didn't even want to go that far into it, but let's just summarize, and I'll just keep it. This is what I really wanted to say. I think the respectful thing to do, unless you know specifically what someone celebrates, is to say Happy Holidays. It's nice. It's a nice thing to do. It's a Christmassy thing to do. It's a in the spirit of Christmas thing to do. No one, if someone says Happy Holidays to you, I would argue that they are not trying to personally offend you or politically jab you or admonish or disregard your religion. Some people celebrate Christmas and they don't tie it to they don't connect it with Christianity. Yes, we all know how this all started, but some people don't do that. Can you respect that? Some of you can't. And that's your issue. But don't make it ours. If for whatever reason you just discovered the show, if this tickles your fancy, and this, what I just got done talking about probably didn't tickle anyone's, some people's fancy, but I don't give a crap. If this tickles your fancy or some other region, check out the archives. You're going to have ample time to do that because this is the last show of the season. And just like last year, I just want to say thank you, Rabble.tv. I love doing this show. I love helping other commissioners. I love talking fantasy football. Well, I love talking football, and I like talking fantasy football. This year, I endeavored to reach out and try to expand my community. I will work much more aggressively in the off season so that when season 3 comes up, because I will be back, we are bigger and better than ever. The 60 minutes that I spend each Friday speaking with you, talking at you, ranting about things, and talking about Brie Larson, it's all great and it's fun for me. I love it. So I hope in some small way you find some kind of entertainment or use or pick up some knowledge or gain some knowledge or learn some things. That certainly is my objective when I do this show. So, Dan Shulman, Mark Stern, Ryan Terrell, Megan Grzinski, a wholehearted thank you to you once again, you folks at Rabble.tv. I'm glad that I was approached last year to do the show. I'm glad I've been able to do it again for the second season. And I'm going to start crying now. I just feel honored, and that's it. I'm kind of disappointed that this is the last show, but I'll get into it in a second about why that is. I have a list here, so I'm trying to go through it real quickly before I get into the nitty-gritty, the good stuff. So the regular season is over okay. And I'm not talking about the DFS. That's something different. That's different altogether. So you're either playing in a final if you have a playoff in your league, or you have your final next week, which seems rare since the don't play in week 17 myth, people. The myth is strong. It's the strong myth in you. At least it gets repeated a lot on the fantasy shows. Or you have 2 more weeks left in non-playoff leagues. See, think about that. If you love playing fantasy football, why wouldn't you want to play for an additional 4 weeks? Those of you who start your playoffs in week 13 or 14. You're missing out, right? You alleged lovers of fantasy football. That's it, right? If you're new to the FCS, the Fantasy Commissioner Show, what usually happens, what I did last year, rather, since this is the second season, we've covered that. Once the season is over, then I spend the next couple of shows discussing and planning for the upcoming season. You know, we got a checklist and all that stuff. And last year, I ended the show the week of the divisionals. So I think that was like the second or third week of January. So we're going to have to condense about 3 shows in today's show. So that's why I made a little list, because I didn't want to forget. Wasn't planning to discuss the holiday thing, but I just felt compelled, because I know at the end of the show I was going to say happy holidays, and you can go ahead and send the emails you want to, but I don't care about your religion. So it's not a religious statement or attack if I say happy holidays. And so that's why I said what I said at the beginning. I don't care. You do what you want. She gets to do what she wants. We all get to do what we want. And the last thing I care about is what religion you're practicing. I couldn't care less. So when I say happy holidays, I'm saying it as a matter of respect, because if I don't know you, I don't know what you read, what you watch on TV, what kind of underwear you wear, if you wear any at all, or what religion you practice, or whether you practice underwater naked basket weaving. I don't care. So out of respect, I say happy holidays. And if for some reason you're offended, that's on you. So we're condensing. Last show of the season, because Rabble.tv, the host of my show, the gracious host, the folks who brought me aboard, and I'm happy for that. My show, the other shows, we're out of here January 5th. Because Rabble they're upgrading or renovating. They're changing the site. Version 2. They're calling it Version 2. So no more shows after January 5th. So this is it. I'm so glad we had this time together. So we'll act accordingly. And I'd like to give you folks, especially those commissioners, who are finishing their very first season. Congratulations. Your very first season as a fantasy commissioner. I'd like to give you some things to think about. And we're going to help you assess what went down. And hopefully the season went well enough for you at the helm of your league, or the league for you office types, that you feel hep to do it again with pep, vim, and vigor. So, the burnout has happened for me. And I've talked about it in the past, about how I couldn't care less if fantasy ceased to exist, and I'm that's true. And that all I care about is the NFL. That's true. and that fantasy is a bonus. It's the gravy. That's true too. Well, I'm done, and partly because I single-handedly sabotaged my championship or potential championship. I don't count my chickens before they hatch and all that. Potential championship with one decision last week, and I think it's done. And I have to be honest, it's put me in a fantasy funk. Now maybe that's why I've had my head up my keister for the last 3 days. I don't know, but I'm just being honest. I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have, or let me. I should be in first place, but I am no longer. And yes, I'm bitter about it. I what are you gonna do? And I'm not going to go into details because you know what, I was feeling pretty mild, and then I started talking about the Christmas thing, and I got kind of riled up, which it's kind of easy for me if I allow it. So I was a little mild on the mood meter, but I'm no longer. But I don't want to go into a tailspin, the tailspin of despair. I don't want to do that because if I start talking about my fantasy demise, it's happening. So I'll just say that I am now in third place. God, you know what? And I remember when I started the league, we didn't play for money originally, and I had some issues, and in order to rectify those issues, the following season I made it a money league with 3 slots, and this was something we voted on because I wanted winner take all. I'm that kind of guy. There's no victory or moral victory or whatever you want to call it. I don't care. Fill in the blank victory. I don't care. If I come in second place, I don't care. I'm not happy about it. If I come in third place, I'm certainly not happy about it. And I have placed, I think I got second last year, and I think got second year before. I forget. But I place. I usually place. It's been rare that I've done really poorly. And in the history of Caraparavel, for those of you that don't know, that's the name of the league that I run. I think there's 12 teams in the league now. I think the lowest I placed was maybe 10th. I've never come in last. I think 10th was the lowest, maybe 11th, but I think 10th. I can admit that. But I'm usually in the run, and I place often. I haven't won in a while, though, so this year I was feeling pretty good. Pretty good. Because I've been in first place, I would say 13 out of the 15 weeks going into the last week. And I was talking to someone about it, and I'd rather make a run and have like a 7-8 game winning streak and win the league, and I've done that, than to be at the top, because the top where you are doesn't matter until the last week, until week 17, or until mathematically you can't be your record, no matter if you lose the last 1 or 2 games, you'll still be in first place. Whatever situation arises, I'd rather make the run and end up in first place than to be in first place all season, which doesn't mean jig-jack. Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything at all. So I've fallen from my first place throne at the worst possible time of the season, and I don't think I'll get it back. I really don't. Now, I still have the most points in the league, but it didn't work out for me record-wise. And folks, that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. So yeah, so we had a vote, and I voted for first place winner take all. I knew it was going to go to 3 money slots, and one of the reasons I did that, I'm not going to get into the history, but one of the reasons that I did it was because I felt that it was a good way to keep people interested. You might not have a shot at first place, but at least in third place, you can get your money back and play for free. Now, I added, I don't even remember now, but we started off with 10. We now have 12. And when I added 2 more teams, the third place pot increased. So now, even if you come in third place, you actually win something. You don't just play for free. You don't just get your pool money back. And it's true, it works. People, because right now I'm loath to tell you how many people are vying for third place, but I don't know. I'm going to guess. I'd say maybe there might be 4 people. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm being lazy. I could just pull it up.
Reginald?
Yeah, what is it?
Why don't you just pull it up?
You know what? You're interrupting my show.
You better just pull it off. Just be nice. It's the Christmas thing to do.
Okay, I'll do it.
See, wasn't it? Don't you feel better?
No. All right, here we go. So, we have in first place, I'm going to change the names to protect the innocent, or maybe I just won't say their name at all, but their team, Boops Boys, first place. And they have a current 2-game winning streak, but before that, I think their streak was something like 7 or 8. Like, they were dabbling down in the bottom half of the league, and each week they kept winning. And then last week was a matchup between their team and my team, and if I had won, I lost. So if I had won last week, I would have gone right back to first place, but I did not. So we got, in first place, we have someone with the record of 11-4, so they've got sole possession. Second place is 10-5, and then here I am in third place. Record-wise, I'm tied with someone. We both are 9-6. So let's see. So technically, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm counting my team. There are 6 teams that very well could end up in third place. That's pretty good, folks. So, commissioners, and once again, I can identify with, I'm a survival of the fittest kind of guy. I like the winner take all, but I've said this many times on the show, as a commissioner, there are sometimes things that you want to put forward up to a vote, or sometimes you don't have to vote. You can just make it happen as the commissioner of the league. There are some things that you will put forward that's good for the league. It's good for you as a commissioner, but it's bad for you as a player. I've had to deal with that this year as a player. I downsized our roster, the bench. That's hurt me this year. Even though, I still was killing it. I was doing well. But still, the way I like to play, I couldn't play the way I like to play. I've had to, evolve over the years. But my point is, there are some things that I've instituted or things that I put up to vote in my league that I necessarily as a player didn't want. But you do it anyways, because the idea is that you bring people together, that hopefully, you'll weed out the bad ones, and then you have a group of people that you will play with for a long time. That's what I wanted. That's what I have. And for you new commissioners, I wish you the best in that. And that's why I'm here to help you make that happen. But it's just something to think about. I knew that having 3 money slots would be the way to go. I knew I could vote, but it's kind of like those, I'm going to vote for Jill Stein. And they had no idea. Everyone, including Donald Trump, everyone thought he was going to lose. So, all those people who voted for Jill, a lot, or some, I love the magic word some of those people who, I'm going to protest. They protested believing that, things were going to work out anyway, but then they could spend the rest of the year and the rest of the 4 years telling us how they voted for Jill Stein. Because that's what they were going to do. They're not going to be doing that now. They're not going around going, well, I voted for Jill Stein. They're so proud of it. Well, they're not so proud of it now. But if Hillary Clinton had won, they would have been so proud, and we would have heard it all 4 years. Well, what do you want to? Hey, what do you want to see this? What do you want to see tonight? I don't know. I already saw Rogue One. I bought my ticket 5 years ago, and I already saw Rogue One. And by the way, I voted for Jill Stein. Hey, man, look, Waze says that the 405 is jammed. There's an accident or something. So we've got 2 routes that we can take. What do you think we should do? Take a look. Well, by the way, I voted for Jill Stein. We would have heard that crap for 4 years. So, I voted to have winner take all, even though I knew the result was going to be 3 money slots. It kind of worked out for me in my Green Party fantasy football voting. Not so well for us and you. I'm going to protest. Yeah. By the way, we were supposed to have the Week 17 Myth Show within the next coming weeks, but we're not now, and I'm going to resist going off on a rant about it. But some of you guys, not I, but some of you guys just love the phrase "nothing to play for." They've got nothing to play for. Well, I would say a good assumption would be that most folks are talking about the team that a particular player is on, that they're not in playoff contention. Can we agree that that's probably what people are talking about? That's what they're talking about? And no, this is not going to be the Week 17 Myth Show. It's not going to happen. Because we lost shows. They're shaving shows at the top because they're doing version 2 of Rabble, and I like it. And they asked me to help out with the process, and I'm very proud that they asked me, so I'm going to be part of that. And frankly, I'm going to work really hard to make you part of the show next year, because I'm not sure they want me to give out the details, so I'm not. But Rabble.tv version number 2 is going to be so great with listener interaction, because you could be discussing things right here, right now with me and on the live feed. You could, but next year it's going to be even more, and I'll even be able to bring you. Oh wait, yeah, I don't know. Okay, so that's it. I don't want to give anything away and violate stuff. So anyways, it's going to be cool, guys. It's going to be cool. It's going to be great. So I'm going to toss some things out for you to think about. Just consider these things. And come tomorrow, I love ya, tomorrow, you will see players who are still playing. Did you catch that? And you will still have coaches coaching on teams that you, not I, that you have deemed that they have nothing to play for. Please consider the following, you Week 17 myth types out there. Please consider the following. Some coaches are still coaching for their jobs. We will take a pregnant pause for you to consider that. This is called real life, folks. Some coaches are still coaching for their jobs. Pregnant pause ensues. They are coaching for their next... They're coaching for their next contract. Real life. Jobs. We're talking about jobs here. We're talking about people who have families, most of them at this stage of their lives, with houses and mortgages and braces and alimony and all that life crap stuff. Yes, life goes beyond the realm of fantasy football. It really does. They're going to be coaching the next 2 weeks. Some of these coaches are going to be coaching in an effort to keep their jobs. All of them aren't Mr. Ryan. They axed Mr. Ryan last week. Some of these guys are fighting for their jobs. Nothing to play for? Some of these players, who you guys, not I, are thinking about avoiding playing, putting in your roster, well, no. Let's be frank here. You're not playing now, are you? And you're not even playing next week because of your Week 17 myth, right? Right? Because before the season even started, you wanted no part in that, right? You somehow knew that the Giants would clinch the East, right? Except they haven't. You knew that Dallas, they weren't going to clinch, right? Well, they just might. You knew Carolina was going to implode, right? You knew that, right? You knew the Cardinals, who were in the NFC Championship last year, you knew they weren't even going to make the playoff, right? Right? You guys, you knew these things, right? No, you did not. You didn't know who was going to get hurt. You didn't know who was going to get benched. Yeah, you knew that Dak Prescott would help his team have a record of only 2 losses, right? You knew that, right? Yeah. Yeah. All you roving Nostradamuses out there. Yeah, you knew that. Some of these players who you are thinking about avoiding playing because, I'm sorry, once again. You're not even thinking about that because you're not playing at all, right? Let's just say this. Well, they don't have anything to play for. Okay. You ever heard of contract incentives? I know you have. I'm sure you have. They have incentives in their contracts. Oh, I don't know. Things like yardage bonuses, touchdown bonuses, tackle bonuses, games played bonuses. We're talking money here. Real life beyond the realm of fantasy football. Big bumps in pay scales. If these guys hit these markers, they get more money. Dun 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 dun. Let's try that again. Dun 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 dun. Money. Dun 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 duh. I mean, think about it, guys. Come on. Well, they got nothing to play for. They have plenty to play for. Are you even talking about those guys? Because it never sounds like you are. It never sounds like you are. You're just talking about so-and-so team. Well, they're not going to play playoffs. They have nothing to play for. Or, this is true too. Or, so-and-so has clinched. They have nothing to play for. Coaches understand the characteristics of an NFL contract. And just in case you don't know, an NFL contract, the money is not guaranteed. That's why these players work so hard to get the bonuses. You have to pay them the bonuses. That's why some players will get cut before the next bonus kick in. You get that money. Bonuses travel from contract to contract. It's the salaries that change. They need that bonus money because the salaries aren't guaranteed. So if you are on a team that has clinched home field advantage, you might have a coach who says, no, I don't care that if you throw 2 more touchdowns, you're going to get another $1 million. You're not playing. But you have to think deeper, expand your awareness. There are sometimes there's going to be coaches who are like, yeah, man, get that money. It depends. But you just can't. You guys do. But you just can't take that brush and just take that broad sweeping stroke. It's easy to do, and that's why people do it. Making that broad stroke, that's so easy to do. There are players who are on teams that have clinched right now. They have contract incentives, and they are going to play to get those incentives. And the coaches, if they want to keep their players happy, they're going to let those players do it. And yes, there are exceptions, blah, 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 blah. But you guys have to think about those things. And why is that important? Because I love fantasy football, but yeah, I don't play week 17. I don't play week 16 either because we have a playoff in our league. We have playoffs. It's so awesome. I don't play week 14 because we have a playoff in our league, but I didn't make the playoff. It's so awesome. You're just watching the rest of us play. How about that? So I was planning to go over in a future show for this season the actual list of fantasy relevant players who got rested this week or week 17 in an upcoming show so we can talk about it. But I won't get to do that. But we're going to do it. We will do it, and it will be one of the first shows of next season. It will. And you're going to see it's never as many as people think. And honestly, I'm not sure people have a number in mind. It's always this sweeping generalization that your fantasy team is going to be crippled. Crippled, I say. Crippled, I tell you, if you play week 17. There won't be enough players. There won't be enough players available to play. Armageddon. Before you say something like that again, think about what you are saying. The Falcons have sat Julio Jones the last 2 weeks because he's hurt. And they may do so again tomorrow and next week, the next 2 weeks. Not because they've clinched, because they haven't. Oh my God, week 17. Oh my God, tomorrow's week 16. Well, they haven't clinched, guys. But they're not playing him because he's hurt. Hurt. But I'm sorry, mea culpa. Why am I even discussing this? You 17 mythers already knew this was going to happen, though, right? You knew it was going to happen. The rest of us, the idiot faction. Week 16. That's where we are right now. Only 4 teams know they are going to be in the NFL playoff. For sure. 4 teams. Did you catch that? I'm going to say it again very slowly so you can understand. We only have 2 weeks left in the playoff. But we don't play fantasy football in week 17. We don't play fantasy football in other leagues in week 16 because how can you possibly put together a roster? They rest all the starters. There are no available players to play. What's wrong with you people? Why are you guys still playing? Why are you still playing fantasy football? Week 17? I'd never be in a league that plays in week 17. Good, because you wouldn't be playing in my league. 4 teams, people. New England won the division. They have a first round bye. The Raiders, they're in the playoff. Dallas, they're in, and they have home field. Now, unless you are a stone cold, drugged up Dallas fan, no one saw this coming. Home field advantage? Dallas? Yeah. Hey, you. Yeah, no, not him. You. You with the Raiders shirt on. Yeah, no, not you. I'm not pointing at you. I'm pointing at this guy. Yeah, you. Did you know before the season started that Dallas not only was going to win their division, that they were also going to have home field advantage? Did you know that? Yeah. Liar. And Seattle. That's the 4th team. Seattle has their division. They won their division. That's it. That's it. All you guys with those mega version 9.0 crystal balls out there. I'd never play in week 17. You don't have any. You can't play. You can't put together a good roster. So how many teams are in the NFL? 32. 32. Now here's the question. I mean, can you even answer this? And now, America's favorite game. How many teams are left to get into the playoffs? How many still have a chance to join the other 4? Do you know? Hey, you. Yeah, same guy. Do you know? Do you know how many still have a chance to join New England, Seattle, Dallas, and Oakland? Do you know how many still have a chance to join those 4? How many? 10! Whoa, did you say 10? Yeah! Look at that. Hey, gang, did you catch that? 10. 10. 10. T-E-N. 10. Ding! Oh, no. You get the buzzer when you spell it wrong, right? Yeah, okay. All right. Oh, well. 10. Nothing to play for? Nothing to play for. Okay. But I know. I get it. I do. You week 17 mitters. You had all this sorted out before preseason. I know you did. I know you did. First time commissioner. So how did your season work out? Did you have any drama? First time commissioners, can you think of any issues that arose that you either tackled, diffused successfully? How did it work out? So this is what we're going to do. Grab a pen and a paper. Yep, I'm old school. Grab whatever you use to record your ideas and thoughts, whatever that is. You can have your little shiny tablet. Lose that sucker and your records are gone, right? Unless you back up. Do you back up? Because most people don't. Only if you back up can you go, well, I know what you're saying, but I have a tablet, but I back up. And I'm not going to, and I can't think of another off-site backup service, and I'm not going to name the one that I use because I think they stink and I'm leaving them, so I'm not going to give them any kind of credit. So I can't continue the example, or I can make up a name. Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I have my tablet, and I use the backup service Looky Cloud, and it's great. So if I lose my tablet, I could download all my stuff. So there, you. And on my tablet, I have 50 books on my tablet. So there, you can't go to the beach with 50 books. I wouldn't take 50 books to read, just maybe one or two. Yeah, but I got 50 books on my tablet. So, record. So, get whatever it is that you record your ideas on. Okay? So, we're going to look forward. We're going to go over the season now while everything is fresh. You don't wait until May or June. And we're going to remember the bad stuff too, especially because time has a way of helping us forget the bad stuff. Not me. I just ruminate on the shit. Oh, family show. Time has a way, of softening the bad stuff. Come May, come June, time and distance will soften the irritation that you may be feeling about what went down this season, or even something that is going on right now, right? Doggone it. First item. Okay, so the first item on your list will be the things that you're proud of. We'll start with the good stuff. If you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all. So we're going to start with the good stuff. You're proud. I want you to be proud. You're going to list the things that, as commissioner, the stuff that you're proud of that went on this season. What decision that you made during the course are you the most proud of? I'll wait. Take a moment. Think it out. Make a list. Write it down. I'll wait. So you're going to take a look at this list. Let's take a look at it. Take a moment and be proud. So now if you're listening to this as an archive, you'll probably pause. It's a good time to pause. Pause it or not. But I have to move on because I'm live. I'm doing this live. Okay, so now on to the things that you might want to forget. Okay, so you're going to list the worst moments of the season. And you might not have had any. And that's good. If that's the case, great. So let's modify. You can modify it and list the things that you could have done better. And it might have been a situation that wasn't so catastrophic in nature, but something that you want to fix, or it could be something that you shouldn't have done. But you only know that now because you have the advantage of hindsight, right? I'm going to share. Am I in a sharing mood? I guess I am. I don't know. Who knows? So, one thing that I could have done better this year as a commissioner, I got a little lazy. I don't want to say that. I don't think that's true. Maybe forgetful, but I'm not a forgetful person. But I did forget to read Yahoo's What's New page. That's one of the first things I do when I make the leave live. And now, you can get notification through your email or through your text that the league is live and all that stuff. But back in the day, I would just hover and I'd be up because they always did it like at, 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. And, I'm a night owl. I was even worse night owl back then. And I'd do the refresh, because, that's what I am. But every year they make some kind of changes, and I always read it. Now this year, for whatever reason, I didn't. Okay. And I missed the new IR rules that now include out and, POP players, POP players. Now, I feel that it was my job to know this. And it's my job to point it out to the league, even though they should read the What's New section too. They should. Nonetheless, I didn't realize that the roster option had changed. So it wasn't until I was making a roster move and the IR square lit up, and I'm looking at him like, I didn't think it should be doing that. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, why is it doing this? Oh. So I went straight to the new section, and sure enough, there it was. And I take pride in knowing the details, working the details, and I missed the boat this time. So for me, that's what's on my list. To not let that happen ever again. Don't take things for granted. And I don't think that's what it is. I don't know. I just wasn't on it, but whatever the reason. But I didn't have any real bad stuff going down or drama. And frankly, I shouldn't, because we're almost at the 20-year mark in Care Paravel, so we should have that junk ironed out by now. But for you new commissioners, and that's why I brought it up and I mentioned it, you new commissioners, it's important. And you may have a long list, hopefully not, and you might have a short list, but take the time to assess your league right now. So no matter what kind of league you have, you're either done or you're going to be done this weekend or after next weekend, whatever the case may be. Do your list now. We'll talk about spring cleaning and all that, but not now. So you have the things that I'm proud of, the worst things that happened this year, or things that I wish I had done, and you're going to keep those. File it away. And whatever means or whatever medium you use, file it away, and then just enjoy yourself. And then you'll pull this stuff out, whenever it is that you feel compelled to start thinking about it again. For a lot of us, it's different. I'm not even going to, some people are holding drafts in June, okay? I mean, whatever. One more heading. So your next heading, your next list, is going to be any rule. Why am I having a hard time saying that word? And then Reginald couldn't speak anymore, and his brain exploded right there on the spot. Someone in your league may have said or suggested a rule change. And hopefully it was nothing that you said, yeah, okay, and did it mid-season. But if for some reason you thought it was a good idea or you're thinking about putting it up for a vote, write it down right now. So that's what the next list is. We've got 3. This is the third list. Any rule... Scooby-Doo! Any rule changes or additions that you can think of or that were suggested, it goes on the list right now in one place. Because sometime I'm just gonna just because I can say May. You're gonna look at this list and you're going to formulate an official proposal, or not. It might just be something that you will implement yourself, because you have that right. Especially if you started the league, it is your league. I'm not going to go and delve into the stupid semantics game. Man, I don't ever want to be in a league if they call it their league. It is my league. I started it. It's my league. Now, in a territorial way, I mean that in a factual way. I wanted to start a fantasy football league. I did, and I run it. So it's my league. And that's not coming from a point of being selfish and being, egotistical about it. I think it's the egotistical types who are who get offended when they hear other people say my league, I guess. Anyways, so you want to do those things now. Don't say, yeah, I'll remember. And honestly, you just might. You might remember, but write it down. And so now, any initial ideas that are running right now in your head or opinions that you have on these ideas or changes or rule changes, write those ideas down. Anything. You're just doing a purge. You're everything. Anything or everything you think of. Some of you are more wordy than others. Okay? That's what you're doing. It's a good idea to do this every year. And once again, more work is going to be put in with the newer commissioners because they are the ones that are going to be susceptible to changes and the powers of evolution, the powers of their league evolving and people coming and going. And while you're at it, if right now, and I wasn't planning on saying this, but the thought just hit me, and I think it's a good thought. So, you have a fourth list. And you may never, ever need this list, but chances are you might. It's going to be a list of people who you might want to be in your league. They can't be in your league now because it's full. And if you're full, if no one leaves oh man, I better get off of this. I can't speak anymore. I just can't do it. I give up. But I'm going to finish this point. Okay, so hopefully for you new commissioners, the crew that you have now is the crew that you will still be playing with 15 years from now, or even 10. Chances are that won't happen. But it could. But let's say, because we are all about preparing. We're all about prevention here at the FCS, the Fantasy Commissioner Show. Last show of the season. So you're going to make a list of people, one, that you want to be in the league, who you think will be fun, but, for whatever reason, they're not in the league. Maybe, you just met someone this year, or maybe, you didn't have room, or whatever. Whatever the reason is, you're making that list. People who you would want to be in the league, and people who have asked to be in the league. And you just keep that list handy. Because sometimes, because of money or people move or, maybe you have an office league, it doesn't matter. It's easier now because we have the internet and stuff, but still, we're still talking about prevention here. Have that list. And during the course of the year, you might meet someone, on the train, and man, you start talking about fantasy football, write their name down. Because you never know when you're going to need it. And I've had to do that myself. My list has never been that long, but when someone leaves my league, I pretty much have someone in mind that I'm going to ask. So it's just called being prepared. Okay, so we have 4 lists here. 1, the one we just talked about, a list of people who could potentially come in and replace your current roster of owners or members of your league. You have a list that has any proposed rule changes or any new ideas that you might want to implement in the league. You have a list of things that were just awesome, the best things ever. All the good stuff, things that you are proud of. And the last list will be all the things that sucked. But this is what I'm going to do to change. These are the things that I'm going to do to make sure that the sucky things don't ever happen again. I'm going to be ready the next time. I'm going to be prepared as much as I can. And on that note, I'm going to say happy holidays to you folks. You have a good fantasy football season for those who are still playing. You enjoy the rest of the NFL season. This is it for me. End of season 2. Please take the time to look in the archives. I would like to think that you'll have some fun. You might learn some things, and hopefully you'll be entertained. I shall see you. Season 3. I will pop up somewhere along the way. Probably, I don't know. I don't even know. July. I popped my head up in July this year. So let's just mark our calendars. Say July 2017. So I bid you adieu. This is Reginald James, the Commish. I'm at Twitter at Commish, the Commish Show. You guys have a wonderful 2017. And until next time, see ya.